hello and welcome to episode 2 of our Rings of Power review series. And thank you for watching episode 1. Now it's time for episode 2. And straight off the bat, I feel a lot more action being packed in. Now they have sort of told you who, what is, where, what they think is going to happen. And now they just jump straight into action. So, काफी action-packed episode. Second one. What do you guys think?
You know what it is? It's like, अच्छा guys, अभी world establish हो गया.
हाँ.
चलो अभी enough. And just boom.
ये ले एक creature पहले 10 minute के अंदर ही. So
you know what else I really liked about it was like it's a very small, simple thing, but you only appreciate it if you've had like a upbringing filled with Bollywood movies, which is that at the end of the first episode, Galadriel jumps into the sea, right? And I like that they opened on her in the sea, right? And not just cut to land. You know, she made it somehow. Don't ask questions.
No, and not just that, she makes it and she's swimming in the vastness of the ocean.
Yeah.
और वो करते थे, bro, मेरे को उसको देख के my body was hurting. कि how much must she have had to swim?
Yeah.
Before she encountered those people on the raft. Like she was just like Michael Phelpsing it, like full power.
Which, you know something, like either she was going to avenge her brother or she was going to meet her brother. One of those two things.
You could see it with every stroke.
Yeah.
No, but so obviously we start off with Galadriel. She ends up meeting these people on a raft who you don't know about, where you meet, I think, the character who's going to be a lot of intrigue. He's the mystery character. He could be one of many, many things. His name is Halbrand, who is on the raft with a bunch of other people who are stranded in the middle of the ocean. They take Galadriel up, right? Who did you at first think that these people could be? Did you have any thoughts in your head?
Go for it.
Go for it.
So I'll tell you what I thought. Like I thought that, okay, fine. There's some shipwreck has happened. Amazing coincidence. Lovely. Great. Okay. Made it. Then I see Halbrand and I'm like, oh my God, I've seen this face before. He looks very much like Aragorn. Like it's a different Aragorn. It's Paragon. Like it's a, it was interesting. So, but, and then the worm attacks them, right? Like,
which is what I meant by they got into the action straight up because you're in the middle of the ocean and this ginormous creature who's only, I don't know, are they those fins or whatever the hell that is, comes crashing through. And at this point of time is when I felt that Halbrand is going to be somebody that's going to create a lot of problems because he's on the raft with his people. Galadriel is there. He's been on the raft with his people for a while. And as the worm is attacking, he just lets it go. He splits the raft into two, where a whole bunch of them are on one side and he's on the other, right? With absolutely no remorse. Because when he takes Galadriel back up, she just looks at him and this guy has no remorse, which is where I straight up felt, do you think he is Sauron in disguise?
No, he's not.
You know?
I read some fan theories and stuff like that. Okay. So here is...
They did mention though that he could possibly be one.
No. So here, I'll tell you what, the one that I think seems like it's going to be, the one I think it's actually going to have the arc. Okay.
Later.
No. So I think that he's definitely... what's it called, Paragon, but who you really want to, since we're talking about Galadriel's arc, the one that you really are concerned with is who is the person on the ship that is saving them, right? Like that
you don't even know if he's saving them or is he capturing them, right? Like that's because the reason, okay, maybe Halbrand is not Sauron, I don't, but like a part of it, because this entire series is going to be about you eventually finding out who Sauron is and Sauron coming and making the rings, which takes it forward to the next age, etc. Right? So very interesting way in which they showed Halbrand because he looks like a very unremorseful character. There's also an exchange of words and he tells Galadriel about the fact that he's coming from the Southlands where his village was destroyed by who Galadriel thinks is Sauron and the orcs.
He mentions. The orcs.
So the orcs came.
The other thing is, I don't think Halbrand's going to be such an important character, even if he is. I don't know if he becomes Paragon, but because if he's from the south, he's obviously human. He's not an elf. So as a result, he's not.
Baba, I think that he's going to be an important character, and I'm basing this completely on the editing choices, like just on the fact that they held the shot on his face for that long.
Long.
Yeah.
I'm like, nahi.
No,
ये
but
देखा मैं पहले बता के रख रहा हूँ ये शायद हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता है शायद है कि नहीं है
So
नहीं
the-
है
So
close
the
up
thing that's I know it's too early in this episode to discuss it, but I just have to get it out of the way. I think that since we are doing that Galadriel arc, the person who comes at the end, do we have any suspicions on who that is? The reason why I'm asking this question is because I've read some fan theories and suddenly all these jigsaw puzzles have just gone chuck 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 chuck, and it's like, ho sakta hai. So
I think, sorry, do you have a theory?
no, I have a theory that's completely read by someone, and that somebody else has said, and I'm very excited if that is the case. So you want to hazard a guess, then please go forth, because once I do it, then it's probably
no go ahead Baba because my theory on who Sauron is completely different.
No, he's talking about the boat guy.
I'm
Like
talking about
who's
the
the
boat
person
guy.
who rescues
Okay,
Galadriel?
no idea. Tell me.
So the conversation there is that is actually Elendil. Okay.
Okay.
Who is Elendil? Elendil is the father of Isildur.
Isildur.
Oh.
Okay. So so it just suddenly starts to make sense because at the end of it, Galadriel, Isildur, etc. are part of the team that take down Sauron, right?
Correct.
The fellowship.
Yeah. I didn't want to use any
The group.
The group, yeah.
The Brady bunch.
Yeah.
The ragtag bunch of.
Yeah, correct. So if that is the case, then I think it's a really interesting point to bring in Elendil because in about, I would say, 2 or 3 episodes, Isildur will show up as a kid. The other thing that we should be talking about is the stranger for sure, and we should also be talking about Theo.
Yeah. So we are going through all of it one by one.
All the tracks.
Can I tell you my most exciting epiphany?
Bolna.
My most exciting epiphany, Varun and Kautuk, is that the stranger is going to be Gandalf.
No, it's not, because Gandalf wasn't there in the Second Age. So
no,
it's
I
not,
know. It's just in my head.
My theory is that stranger is actually Sauron, but we'll get to it.
Which is what Kautuk feels. I think Kautuk is of the opinion that guy is going to be Sauron.
No, I don't think so now.
No, so I'll tell you now that we've started talking about the stranger. So stranger is the guy, the meteor that shows up at the end of episode 1. You're revealed this one person in the fetal position, and you're trying to wonder who that person is. And one of the half-foots, which is Nori, she goes to find out and investigate more who it is, right? Did you notice how when she goes in, she's in the middle of a meteor crash. Everything is burning around.
Warm, and she says it's not warm. Yeah, it's not
hot. Okay. She comes in and you're like, wait, she's not getting burnt. She's like, oh, it's not hot. Right? This guy, this mystery meteor guy is able to control fire as per will. It comes and goes as he wants. Now, if you remember episode 1.
Sorry, it's also elements. It's not just fire. Because
because there's even his sound, there's the trees. So in episode 1, when Galadriel and team are the elves, when they're in that cave, right? And it's this snowy, dungeony sort of vibe. She comes in and she's like, there is so much evil here that even our flames are not giving off warmth. Right? So I somehow feel like it's almost like even in this one, when Nori goes, she doesn't get burnt by the flames. So I feel there is a connect there. I am fully gunning for Meteor Guy to be Sauron.
So I am gunning for it to be. I'm gunning for it to be Gandalf for 2 reasons. One reason is when he does this whole thing of where he gets angry and he sort of summons things. In the Lord of the Rings, if you remember, there are 2 instances where Gandalf gets angry, and I know I keep calling him Gandalf. Not Gandalf. But I keep calling him Gandalf because to me, Gandalf doesn't sound like it's cool. I think Gandalf is cooler. Okay, so the point is, if you remember in Lord of the Rings, when Gandalf gets angry, there is this little thing, and it's a similar...
Bro, but that happens when he comes close to the ring. So that's an instinctive reaction for most people who come towards the ring.
No, he gets angry to try and say, don't argue with what I'm trying to say. I think it's in the Fellowship or it's in the second part where he does that and he goes and he sort of scares off the thing. The other reason
with Bilbo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason why I now think also that it's Gandalf is because Gandalf has seen Bilbo's family across all, because I
Like
think that
that.
this is Gandalf.
So, okay, we are not going to go into how Harfoots then become hobbits because that is totally separate. The reason I feel Meteor Guy is another reason is they keep mentioning throughout. I think Galadriel says this, where she keeps saying that evil is not born, right? Like the assumption that Sauron was not always bad. It sort of went towards him becoming bad.
Yeah,
He
but
keeps saying
that's anyway the true thing of Mephistopheles. Like the devil was an angel at some point, right? Like, so bad was also good at some point. So yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true.
But another interesting thing I saw was, he keeps saying Mana Ure, right? Mana Ure. Those are the only things the Meteor Guy is saying, which on some subreddit I read that it's like a almost loose translation to something to do with fire. Fire is what? Yeah, that was the sentence. Like it's a loosely translated Elvis sentence, which means fire is what? Plus, massive theory going on for very long is that Sauron was actually an elf. This guy speaking Elvish controls fire. Fire doesn't make you feel warm. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm getting that sort of a.
Can I give you one more supporting theory for the Sauron argument? Another supporting theory for the Sauron argument is that, when he's drawing the stuff on the floor and Nori's father is lifting up that thing, right? And he does this and then he does that. And then at one point he flicks a stone and that guy's leg breaks at the same time. It's something similar that happened in Lord of the Rings, where Sauron from a distance controls somebody else who's far away, right? So to give you your supporting theory of Sauron, I'll give you one more point.
Also, guys, apologies for calling Gandalf and Sauron Sauron.
No, it's Gandalf. It's Gandalf for me. It's always going to be Gandalf. I'm sorry, but
also, there's one shot that they have of Meteor Man when he's just hit the earth, right? There's a top shot, and you see him in the middle.
In that
and
fetal
there's
position.
fire. Yeah, there's a ring of fire around him, right? If you just freeze frame that shot, it basically looks like Sauron's eye.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that
it would be too easy.
No, not necessarily, bro. Which is, that's the thing, right? The great storytelling aspect here is that every scene, every character arc gives you that halka hint of could it be this one, could it not be, and they have different ways of showing it, which is why I really like what Kautuk is saying. Now I want to go back and actually pause and see how that is.
Could it look like Sauron's eye, or could it look like the ring with the thing on it? I don't know,
dude. Something. The thing is, if it is Sauron, okay, just think of it from his perspective that he has to tolerate these two Harfoots. Just being in their company and like pretending to be their friend, like it's just such a tedious, like how much he cares about creating this ring. That he's like, ठीक है यार, इससे भी बात कर लेता हूँ, बता क्या है तेरा scene.
Bro, shit, now that you're saying this, remember that scene where in the end of the first episode when the comet is flying by, right? It's going over a bunch of people. So I think it goes by Gilidal. I feel the elf, I forget his name.
Gil-galad.
Yeah, Gil-galad, right? And he's standing here and there's a leaf that falls. Okay,
and
it's a yellow colored leaf, and when he turns it around, it becomes black. Another thing, a lot that happens in Tolkien's world is that evil is always signified by sort of destruction of nature, right? It's always pollution, corruption. If at any point of time, like one of the main things was that like destruction of the environment,
the blackness of evil. Yeah.
So that's another reason why I feel that it is quite possible that like the Meteor Guy is Sauron. Gandalf wasn't in the second age. He only comes in the third age. So,
like they say that there is one theory that these wizards have always existed, but he existed under a different name.
Like the blue wizards, right? Blue wizards.
Yeah. So just like how later on in the series, and the Lord of the Rings series, you have Gandalf the Grey and then you have Gandalf the White. So here in the second age, he exists under a completely different name, form, etc.
Meteor Man.
Okay, so that's Baba's theory.
Okay, let's see. Okay, all you guys watching, do you all agree with Baba's theory? Let us know in the comments,
course
or
not.
let us know who you think Meteor Man could be. Okay,
Yeah.
let's hear some of your theories also, because we have come up with supplemental arguments. So let's see what you guys have to say about that too.
Bro, also, by the way, traveling via meteor is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That should be an option in Uber, man. That should be a thing. Like rickshaw, car, meteor.
किधर जाना है? अर्थ नहीं नहीं बहुत दूर है, एसी नहीं चालू करेगा. Okay, so I think
by the way, sorry, carry on. Sorry, go
no,
on.
so I was just going now, since we spoke about Meteor Man so much. I think one sequence in the entire episode that I'm pretty sure Kautuk has absolutely loved, because it's a very Kautuk sequence to like, and also maybe right. And that is the part where Elrond goes with Celebrimbor to the dwarves, right? And he wants to talk to Durin, who is the main dwarf.
The prince of
Kautuk,
Durin. The prince.
yeah. What is the name of the place? What is the dwarf land called?
Khazad-dûm.
Khazad-dûm.
So, dude, that sequence was, I think, one of my favorite sequences in the series so far. And like, it's just everything about that thing. It was just so well written. I think it's one of the best written sections in the series so far. And it starts with Celebrimbor basically asking Elrond for help, because he wants to create this furnace, because he wants to create the a thing.
No, he wants to create the most powerful magical forge there is. Like,
that's going to transform Middle Earth.
So, something similar to what Fëanor did. Fëanor being another elf who, that object that he's holding, that is supposed to be super magical, powerful.
A lot of...
Okay, so by the way, you know what that is made of? Sorry, Kautuk, I'll get back to you. You know what that object is made of? When Morgoth comes into Valinor, right? There's 2 trees in Valinor that give off all the light. It's not the sun, it's the light from the trees, and he overtakes all of them, and it's sort of like, it's made from the remnants of that tree, is something that I had read, which really blew my mind. So you know that a lot of these powerful things, like that are happening around Celebrimbor, are also giving the hint that Sauron might be an elf, because one of the theories was that he was an elf called Elendil, okay, and he was the one who sort of fooled Celebrimbor by showing that he can create magical powers, magical objects, etc. So yeah, sorry, Kautuk, go ahead.
So now the thing is that to build such a big forge, they need help, and Elrond volunteers this help by saying, let's approach the dwarves. Now, as they lead up to that point, right, as they go up to the mountain where Khazad-dûm is, there's this very nice line of dialogue where Celebrimbor is basically talking about what an artist is, right, or who an artist is. And he basically says that an artist is a person who looks at who is able to see the plainness of things and see the beauty that can be in them. So, and he likens the dwarves to being artists, because they see the plainness of a mountain and they imagine the world that you can create inside it. And you see that world, in full glory.
And it looks insane. The way they've shown it looks really, really cool.
Very cool. Like, we've seen it a bunch of times before, but like this, like, I think this was a very realized
and also very nostalgic, because in the Fellowship, there's that entire sequence, and Gandalf takes them towards Khazad-dûm, and they have to go with Gimli, etc. And that big scene happens where you know what happens in that scene. Somebody gives himself up. That happened in the mines of Khazad-dûm, right? And to see that
bridge of Khazad-dûm,
but you see that now, before, that is also really cool, right? That this place ended up becoming what you see
there
in Lord of the Rings.
It was the bridge of Durin, and where we'll probably see that happen at some point. So Durin is the prince in Khazad-dûm, and the sequence has really sort of illustrates what the life of an elf is like. So they are immortal creatures, and for them time is endless, right? So they have a very different perception of it as compared to people who are mortal. So
That
The-
20-year conversation. It's
Yeah, man, it's so well done. Like just the fact that Durin is upset with him because Elrond wasn't in touch for 20 years. And for Elrond, that isn't a big deal.
It's like,
Because,
"हाँ, मैं तेरे को परसों मिलता हूँ ना." It's like that.
dude,
Because
like,
elves live for like thousands of
No,
years.
immortal, no?
dude, and
Uh,
also just the fact that it's the second age of Middle Earth and ghosting is still a problem. Like it's a very elemental thing in humanity, dude. Like we don't like it when people just bounce. So I think that section and the whole dinner sequence, all of that stuff, it was very, very well done and sort of very well realized. And like, the thing is, like, in a show like this where you have so much action, right? So many things that are like truly fantastical.
Human moment is beautiful.
To just that, and you can see how even just a great conversation is as good as a whole
Yeah.
fight sequence.
yeah.
So it was very,
So
very
that's the beauty of this episode, right? You got everything. You got foreshadowing. You got like a proper big creature feature sequence. You've gotten like hidden Easter eggs about who could be what, and then you have this really well written. It was also funny, like their interaction.
Yeah, it was funny.
Because anytime you have one of the dwarves in the scene, you automatically know it's going to be a fun watch, right? Because
Yeah.
the things that they say or the sequence in general is always one of the funnier, more light-hearted ones. And this was perfect. Like the time it came also in the episode was really fun.
Yeah. Like I just love how the dwarves have this very like gruff kindness to them.
Yeah.
It's aggressive, but it's very warm. It's a very
Yeah.
odd combination. It's a very fun combination.
Yeah.
So
Right. Apart from these, I think the other two stories, the other two arcs that happened in the episode, one is obviously Theo and that
they're
half
really
broken,
They're
half
really
broken
being stingy
sword.
with Theo, huh? They're
No,
being
but because
very stingy.
he's also going to be very like first straight off the bat when I saw Halbrand, yeah, that's the other thing. मेरे को लगा वो Theo का बाप है. Because there is also a big like mystery about who Theo's father is.
Who the father
he's
is.
somewhere. And
इसके लिए तेरा बाप भाग गया. At one point he says also, right? He
Yeah.
said, "No, my father's not run away. So where did he go?"
And also obviously Theo's mom Bronwyn, and around this scene where they go to check out that village where there is massive destruction, fire, and all of that, also giving you a hint that the orcs maybe pass through here, and then they find that massive tunnel, right? And the tunnel that's leading towards Bronwyn and Theo's village, which you obviously end up realizing is connected because there are orcs going under it. Arundhir goes under it, and he's captured by you don't know what. I feel it's an orc, right?
Yeah, it's orcs.
Bronwyn has to go back to the village, warn the villagers. None of them want to believe her. And in all of this, first time properly, like you see the orc come out, right?
Yeah.
And
That was well done.
that was a very good sequence. Like that suspense was maintained. You're like, wait, is it going to catch them? Not catch them? And gives you more insight on like Theo, because that broken sword with Sauron's sigil that
When
he
his
has,
blood also goes.
right? Exactly, and the blood goes on it. There is that almost weird concoction of smoke that comes in. It almost looks like the sword is getting re-put together. So,
Yeah, which makes me feel there is Sauron's in the Southlands, and that is kind of.
But
The
there
other
are
thing
not,
is-
because in the Southlands is where the orcs are. Halbrand has told
Yeah.
Galadriel that I was in the Southlands and my village was destroyed by orcs.
Correct.
So all of it is leading to that.
Yeah, it's also what Kautuk said, right? Like J.A. Bayona, the director, is an ex-horror genre director, so he's able to hold that suspense so well, even in the second episode, like the way he does that orc scene.
The thing about that scene, right? Like it starts off horror, and then at the end they play it for laughs.
Laughs, yeah.
When she chops off the head and she just dumps it on the table.
Because that guy's like, I don't believe you. I need more proof. And she just like,
He starts to play it for laughs a little earlier, because it when he gets stuck on that rope.
Yeah.
From there, the last bit till the slice, which they don't show, but the slice is match cut to a head being dropped.
Head, yeah.
So
You know something, when that rope thing and all happened, right? When the orc was hung up and all, like for a second I was like, if you put Jackie Chan in this against orcs, it would be hilarious. Like,
Yeah. Too bad Tolkien didn't write that into.
Yeah.
He didn't put Jackie Chan in Second Age of Middle Earth.
Yeah, but no, I mean, honestly, the only thing is the reason why I either think that Theo is going to be super significant or a pawn. It can only be one of those two things. I don't think Theo is going to be a character that's just a supporting character throughout. He's either going to be a pawn who's going to get sacrificed and into for something, or he's going to be this really important character. Is because they're really being stingy with him, and he has something that's super valuable. He has that sigil, and now to abhi uska khoon bhi chala gaya hai wo sigil ke andar. So there is obviously some connection that I'm very,
No, I mean,
very
his
intrigued to find out. And I
thing.
don't even have a fan theory for it. That's the problem.
No, but his track almost like it so far, it's very close to what happened to Bilbo and Frodo, where there is an artifact.
Yeah.
Artifact belonged to the Dark Lord Sauron, and the artifact corrupts you.
Yeah.
Right. So now the only thing is left to be seen ki what is the power of this artifact and how does it play out. Right. There is, by the way, there is one theory. The theory was that Theo eventually becomes the Witch King of Angmar. The Witch King was the head of the Nazguls. So he eventually becomes that person. So that's one of the theories, which would be pretty cool if that happened.
Correct.
Nuts. So again, guys watching, please let us know some of your theories. Who do you think Theo is? What do you think his connection with Halbrand could be? Who do you think Sauron is? And any other theories or the sequences in the episode that you guys like? Let us know in the comments, and let's discuss more in the next episode, which is going to be out tomorrow on Prime Video. So make sure you watch episode 3, and then we'll see you guys back again for the episode 3 review on Thursday. So this series is going to happen every Thursday, going to drop every Thursday. So watch the episode, come up with your theories, and let's have a good discussion in the comments. Anything else before you go, guys?
No, it is Gandalf, guys. I'm telling you. It is Gandalf. It is going to be either Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White. Just watch.
It is Gandalf the Gandalf.
Correct. It is going to be Gandalf.
Neville Sauron.
Neville Sauron is great. On that note, that's it from this episode 2 review of the Rings of Power. Episodes are out every Friday on Prime Video, so go watch it, and we'll see you again next week. Tada, bye bye, goodbye.
बहुत ही ज़्यादा excite. Bye bye.
Manaure.